Hello, Quality Strength Nutrition class. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of water in fat loss and all of your metabolic processes. So last time we covered kind of how your body communicates with itself in the language of hormones, right? Because we're made up out of trillions of cells and they all got a lot of work to do, and so they need to communicate with each other pretty seamlessly based on external stimuli they receive from the outside world, sort of without your cognitive help, as it were. So they're going to communicate to each other in the language of hormones. So if you think of yourself as being this amazing community of cellular activity, and hormones is the language with which your body communicates with itself, then we have to say, okay, we're made up out of these trillions of cells. What else are we made up of? Well, I'll tell you what, you're made up of mostly water, okay? So on average, you're going to be about 55 to 75% water. So think about that for a moment. If we're made out of 55% to 75% water, more than half of us is water, then stands to reason we probably need water. Yeah? Okay. So for those of you who are not already drinking water on a regular basis, please start. Of course, I always get asked how much water, and this is where we can get into kind of figuring that out a little bit. So we're made up of 55 to 75% water. As we get older, our ability to perceive thirst actually decreases, okay? So it's a matter of understanding that you're not always going to be able to tell when you're thirsty. Sometimes you might feel hungry when you're actually thirsty. You get sort of mixed signals going on. And the more in tune with your body you are, the more that you give it what it needs, the more you're going to be able to really communicate and be able to tell when you are actually thirsty. But for now, we have to work in backwards, especially if you're sort of in this stage of what have you been telling your body and you're not getting the right result that you want, okay? So start off by understanding that you're made up mostly of water. You're not always going to be able to tell when you're thirsty, and the whole old thing about 8-ounce glasses, that might be working for some very sedentary people, but probably not for you if you're beginning an exercise program. So a couple things to consider. The average person sweats out on any given day between 1 and 6 liters. That's the average. 1 liter, that might be a sedentary person who spends most of their day in an air-conditioned office or air-conditioned environments, cool environments. You know, we're in Tucson here, we're in the desert, we're gonna sweat a little bit more than that. So we're looking at closer to the other end of the spectrum, which is 6 liters, especially if we're highly active, especially if we're healthy. Healthy people will sweat more than unhealthy people. That's part of becoming more athletic, so you might as well start to enjoy it. So we might sweat between 1 and 6 liters. For those of us who can't quite visualize a liter, 1 gallon is 3.78 liters, okay? And a lot of times this is a real shocker for people. They think, well, 3.78 liters, that's you know, almost a little bit more than half of what I might be sweating out in any given day. How am I going to get all that water? Well, you start off slowly, okay? And I do get from people a lot, well, I'm going to spend my life in the bathroom if I start drinking that much water. Don't start drinking it off all at once. Don't give yourself a bellyache. Your body will adapt. It will figure out how to use that water appropriately. You're not going to spend your life in the bathroom after the first few weeks of adaptation, okay? But gradually increase your water intake and monitor your activity. You may need to drink less water on an inactive day, but on your active days, you might need to drink more, especially on a hot day. Hot active days, really focus on your hydration. Your balance can become impaired when you're just as little as, 1.2% dehydrated, I think is the number. Don't quote me on that. But you can become balance impaired. Your performance decreases when you're only a little bit dehydrated, and most people don't even perceive thirst until they're around 3% dehydrated. So really important to stay on top of it for all those reasons. And the reason I recommend water so heavily when I'm talking to people about fat loss in particular. Fat loss is one of your goals. You have to remember when we're talking about hormones and our body communicating with itself, well, those hormones travel through, guess what? Liquid, right? Yeah, they're not going to be floating in and transmitting and doing all the communication they ought to be doing unless there's something for them to kind of flow through. So you want to communicate with your body effectively, then you have to make sure that you have enough water. Also, if you are drinking soda or sweetened beverages, please just stop. You want to see fat loss right away, right now, this week. You want to lose 8 pounds, stop drinking your soda, even your diet soda. I have seen people lose, on average, 8 pounds just from stopping their diet soda and switching to drinking more water instead. So it's really, really important, highly beneficial. If you have questions on this video, please email me, please contact me. The email is mel@qualitystrength.com, and phone number is 520-351-9074. We look forward to hearing from you, and I'll do a Q&A for next week's video as well. All right, thanks, and have a great day. Stay hydrated.